Hello and welcome, I am Raziel, and so I did a theory on how the dystopian age would end. I quite enjoyed doing that one because I like doing this sort of research where I can, look up the lore, piece pieces together and seeing how things might end. And that was an enjoyable video to do in my opinion, I really liked it. Now, I'm going to do the beginning, and the beginning actually does include the Order, the Hex, and the Watchers. Yes, we have aliens here, interdimensional species, and some evil corrupting presence. And this is how it begins. So, basically, the Watchers' hegemony has been in charge of the galaxy for 6,000 years, and they had been watching the humans with some intrepidation and curiosity, wondering how they would develop. And this is just what they do. They send down infiltrators, and they watch, they learn, and they sort of see what the humans can do for the hegemony and what the hegemony can do for them. So, after a while, they opened up portals in Atlantia, basically Atlantis, into the city of Thera. The portals opened, and they found a cerulean infiltrator completely out of her disguise. They were surprised at this, how she could walk around so freely and not be undermined or attacked or anything like this. She was open and honest with her appearance, and she was widely accepted by the Therans. This was a surprise to say the least, because the Viridian Alpha in charge never saw this in any species. Species do not go under such cultural changes so quickly and so readily. This just doesn't happen. But here we are. The aliens were walking along the humans as normal. It was just an everyday occurrence. Soon the Magenta started to abduct humans to, learn about our species. Not saying it's a good thing, this is what they did. And this took notice by Vespica. Vespica are the foot soldiers, basically, of the Order. And they weren't very happy about this, as you can kind of guess. And they opened fire upon the Watchers with laser guns and advanced technology. See, this is what actually got the Watchers interested in Atlantia and Thera. The rest of the planet, every other human were banging rocks together, trying to make fire, thinking that the Earth is the center of the galaxy and everything like that. So, whereas Atlantia, however, was not. They were technologically advanced. They had weapons, buildings, generators. They had everything that they could. And the Watchers did not like this. Even as isolated as it was, this grew worrisome for the Watchers. Because humans shouldn't do this. Even if they're isolated, especially if they're isolated, they shouldn't be more advanced than the rest of the world. That's not how culture grows. It's not how technology grows. It grows through, basically people talking to other people of other cultures and learning. Having an isolated culture, such as the Atlanteans, suddenly be more advanced than everyone else isn't something that happens because they are isolated. So they interviewed the captives that they have upon their ships, upon the Ark Vaults, that is what their ships are called, and they learned that the Order has basically caused some pseudo-religious and were brainwashing and controlling the humans into doing their bidding, because the humans were nothing more than foot soldiers and basically meat for the war between the Order and the Hex. Now, the Watchers were not aware of the Hex at this time. There was no sign of the Hex, but the war between the Order and the Hex was a thing that the humans very much believed in. The humans also believed that it was their job to destroy the Hex. They believed the Hex was this corruptive stain upon their species, and it was their job. So, thus was the situation upon Atlantia. So, what happened next? Well, the thing is, the Watchers like their species to evolve naturally. They don't like the fact that an external force can interfere with the evolution of a species. It needs to happen naturally, and it cannot be tolerated. But rather than destroying Atlantia, and they said, we're just going to remove all our troops and everything from it, so we can no longer interfere with this society. It has to evolve naturally, and that's what we're going to do. So the Viridian Alpha, she basically told everyone this, and the command was passed down to the Clades, except for one. The Cerulean infiltrator wished to stay on Earth. They wished to stay on Atlantia. It was a surprise because the way the hegemony works, everyone works in succession and they work together, and that for one to not do what they are told or asked of, that is a big surprise. But soon it was realised why this happened. The Cerulean came back with humans and monsters. The Hex attacked the Watchers. So basically right now what's happened so far is the Watchers fought this Order, and because of the Order's interference they've decided to leave. Now the Cerulean has found their Hex and is now corrupted by the Hex, making the Watchers far more fearful of the planet Earth. There were only 2 survivors of the Watchers after this attack, 2 little Greys. Greys are some of the basic troops of the Watchers. Yeah, you know, the grey aliens that we see in science fiction, and if you read UFO books or, you know, alien books, these are the ones that they are, okay? They are basically just grey aliens. And they were under heavy attack by the Hex. So, as a desperate act, they decided to overload their power generator. This power generator was geothermal in nature and reached way past the planet's crust into the magma below. So they overpowered it, causing a great big explosion. This explosion was so large on the arc volts, they could see the volcanic explosion. It was an eruption of magnitude. And yes, I would say this isn't Krakatoa, it happened too early. So we see this, and basically the Hex were wiped out. But a problem lied, because this wasn't on Atlantia this happened. This was elsewhere, and basically they just used energy to waves and like Wi-Fi to pass on energy to where it was needed, like through their portals. Atlantia was still a problem though, because the Order and the Hex and the Watchers are absolutely intolerant of any species interfering with another species' evolution, as I have said. So, what to do? They just dematerialized Atlantia completely. They just destroyed the island. They basically turned it into energy and vented it into space. That's all they did. And that just got rid of the entire Order at the moment on the planet Earth. That was it. That was gone. That was the start of a dystopian age, but it does continue a little bit more. See, even though the Order and Hex had been gone, and what they believed to be gone, the Watchers went back to their planets and other places in their own in their own empire or hegemony, and decided to look out for signs of the Hex and the Order. Well, they found none in their hegemony. They actually found 2 dead planets which had the weapons of the Hex and the Order, but these weapons were millennia old. So they just decided to keep observing Earth. This was an interest to them now because the Order and the Hex had caused so many issues. So they definitely took this vast interest into Earth. And that's what they did. And while we were watching Earth, portals were arriving in South America. And a South American tribe just disappeared. Absolutely disappeared. This was about a century after Atlantia. And this obviously caught the Watchers' eye in a big way, because they don't want this. They want people to evolve naturally. Seriously, I can't really understate that as much as I can. They really don't like it. So that was that. And then they just decided to keep watching and had them under reconnaissance to see what would happen. And then we skip forward to the last bit of this video, which happens in the year 1518, where, if you know your history, that's where the New World was discovered. And this is when it gets really fun, because I think it's funny. And this is how I'm going to end it. Leon de Ponce wanted to look for the Fountain of Youth. And he found it. And he went to drink from it with his golden goblet, but the gold reacted and blew it up. So that is exactly that's the end of it. There you go. The Fountain of Youth was a Watcher outpost, and there you go. I just wanted to add that last bit because it's funny. I just think it's funny that, just this adventurer goes, oh, I found the fountain of youth, puts in his gold cup, kaboom, blows everything up. Leon de Ponce is now over 400 years old, 300 years old, by the way. He is in the Wild West Exodus. You can use him as a model. It's a good model too, actually. So, yeah. Obviously, the fountain of youth worked. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you are interested in Wild West Exodus or the Dystopian Wars, which are from the same setting, go check out Wayland Games down below. Yes, I get commission, as always, and I hope you do. I think these games are fun. I've had great fun games, and are well worth your money in my opinion, and the models look great, especially the Wild West Exodus ones. So thank you very much for listening. There is also Forbidden Planet comics, DVDs, mangas, toys, plushes, etc. There's my merchandise, my comics, and of course Skyforge. Oh yeah, and Patreon. Look, I've got to support it. Like I said, it's just something I have to do. I do apologise. Bye bye.